To start, you want clay that is roughly the size of two of your fists together, and you want to pat it into a ball, or at least a gumdrop shape. Right? To get it on the wheel, elbows down on your thighs, kind of aim in the middle, give it a few practice bounces, and then give it a good bit of oomph. I have my pedal up on top because it lets me control a little bit easier, and especially when you're first starting out, it's one less limb to worry about. So I'm going to start going fairly fast. So you want to be going fairly fast, not full speed, but faster than halfway. I'm then going to take my sponge, get some water, thoroughly wet my clay and my hands. As you get better and better at the wheel, you want to wean yourself off of water, but first, when you're starting out, use quite a bit. My left hand is going to go on top, and I'm using mostly my palm with my fingers together, just kind of wrapping around. My right hand is going to go somewhere between 3 and 6 o'clock on the side. And now the most important thing with the wheel is you must be braced the entire time. Your arms are up like this. Your shoulder is a ball and socket joint. It's very flexible, but it's not very strong. So you need to have some support from the rest of your body. So bracing can mean just having your elbows on your legs. It can mean having them inside your legs, resting them on the splash pan, having one right inside your groin, pushing forward that way, or having them in your abdomen. But you need to be braced. You can't play volleyball. Right? So left hand on top, right hand somewhere between 3 and 6. Elbows are down and braced. And what I'm going to do is start to apply my pressure. So down and forward. But if I apply it all at once, it's going to bump the clay off. So I'm going to start to push down a little bit at a time. Push forward a little at a time, a little bit more, a little bit more. And as you can see, because I'm bracing, I can get my whole body into it. Then just as I apply the pressure slowly, I ease the pressure up, less and less, just going along for the ride now, and then take my hands off. Eventually that'll become muscle memory, just like learning to drive a car or a lot of sports. But when you're first starting out, you need to make a conscious effort. So anytime it gets dry, add a little bit more water. Left hand on top, right hand between 3 and 6, cupping. And again, no pressure, a little bit more pressure, a lot more pressure, really holding it tight. Relax, relax more, and pull your hands off. Right? So we're going from the lump to centered. A few more times with that. So again, no pressure, a lot of pressure. Relax, and let go. Okay. Now, that goes down about 1 inch. So if you think of this like a Tootsie Roll Pop, the candy part is now centered, but that gooey Tootsie Roll on the inside is still kind of loose. So I'm going to do something called coning. So a bit more water, elbows are still down and braced, hands on either side, and I'm going to kind of pull them together, a little bit of overlap. So I'm drawing it up into an upside down ice cream cone, or like a traffic cone. Then my left hand is going to slowly creep up to the top and rest right in there. Normally I would do this all with my fingers wrapped, but I'm going to open it up so you can see what's going on. So I'm going to push it down with that palm. Now, as you can see, it's kind of getting this wonky mushroom head. So I'm going to take my other hand right up underneath it and push forward. And again, normally I do this with my hands closed so that you can see what's going on. It's like that. Relax the muscles. And let go. So now the core is a lot more centered. We're going to do that up and down a few more times, this time with my hands closed, so nice and slow and controlled. Elbows are still down. Left hand creeps up to the top, and they push down and forward together, getting us back into that gumdrop shape. Relax the pressure, and let go. Let's go one more time, just get that last little bit of wiggle out. So again, together. Elbows are still down and braced. Left hand creeps up to the top and pushes back down. Hold it steady one more time. Relax gradually and let go. Okay. So now we're here. We're centered. Right? Next what we're going to do is we're going to open. So I need to make a little divot. So back as if I was still coning up. Hands on the other side. Thumbs right in the middle. And I'm going to make a little divot. As soon as you get that divot established, fill it with some water. I'm going to start to go down as far as I can with my thumbs comfortably. Right? If I'm working with a small piece of clay, that's all I'm going to need, but I can't reach with my thumbs the rest of the way. So my left hand's going to come off, my right thumb's going to come out. I'm going to make contact here, so I've got more stability, because not only am I braced here, I'm braced here. And then I'm going to pick 2 fingers. Most people either use 2 fingers like a gun, or sort of like Spider-Man. So I'm going to do the Spider-Man route. So again, elbows are down, hands cupped on the outside, point of contact here, and I'm just going to painstakingly, boringly, mind-numbingly slowly go down until I think I'm about a ½ inch from the bottom. Okay. When I think I'm there, I'm going to relax my hands, pull them off, stop my wheel, and take my needle tool, go all the way until I hit the plastic bat, put my finger on the clay, and as I pull out, I've got about a ½ inch. So if I want less, I can push a little bit more. Speed her back up. And again, we still want to be faster than halfway. So right now we're here. We have a divot, goes pretty far down, but we need to open it wider. So I'm going to return to this position, but what I'm going to do is draw these fingers into the palm of this other hand. So I'm still cupping, my fingers down, and I pull them into the palm to make this opening wider. So again, elbows are down and braced, hand on the outside, 2 fingers on the inside. And I'm going to pull those fingers in, nice and slow and controlled. Now, if you get a bump at that point, what you can do is kind of like when we were first centering. I'm going to put my hand on the outside, thumb on top, fingers on the inside still, and I'm just going to stabilize. So a little pressure, a lot of pressure. Relax and let go. Right. Now, I've centered, I've opened, I'm then going to pull up and shape. So we just opened and widened. Now we're going to start to pull up. But before we do that, we need to slow the wheel down just a little bit. Okay. We still want some speed, but not quite as fast as when we were centering. Okay. So to demonstrate what's going to happen, if you go like this, and you push with both hands, they stay still. Push a little hard with your left hand, it goes to the right. Push a little hard with your right hand, it goes to the left. Now if you push really hard with both hands, and then give it just a little bit of upward pressure, it shoots up. So the clay is not going to go down into the wheel. And if I apply pressure on both sides, so it doesn't go left or right, it's going to go up. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our left hand on the inside just for support. It's just there to hang out. Our right hand, we're going to make a gun and then hold it like a ducky, not like a crab. This is going to go right in this corner, and we're going to pull up together, right? And again, this hand's doing all the hard work. This hand is just along for the ride to stabilize things. So a little bit of water. The other thing is when I apply this, I don't want to be up here because now my elbows aren't braced. I also don't want to be on this side because as you can see from my sponge, I'm fighting the clay. I want it to flow through my fingers and I want it to be close enough that I can keep my elbows down. So I'm going to go somewhere between 3 and 6, probably closer to 5 o'clock. So again, hand flat on the inside, 2 fingers shoot the duck right in that corner, and I'm going to take a little bite of clay and start to pull up. And I want to let it go all the way around before I even move up 1/4 of an inch. As I get to the top, I'm going to start to tilt in a little bit, release my pressure just a little bit more, relax, and let go. To get more height, I start again at the bottom, keep it nice and slippery. 2 fingers, shoot the duck, right at about 4 or 5 o'clock. Other hand on the inside. Okay. Now, if you've ever been in a car and you have that friend who drives and takes curves or turns too fast, and you have to grab the emergency bar, okay, so think of it like that. This clay is being spun and it wants to fling outward. Down here, it's pretty anchored, but up here, it's a bit freer. So it wants to go like this. And if I want it to go like this, I kind of have to tell it to go into a cone shape when we meet in the middle. So as it goes up, that's why I want to tilt in. Okay. To get a little bit more height, we have a little problem. So when I go to put my arm in, I lose my stability. I can't brace on my leg anymore. Okay. So you're going to act like it's Jurassic Park and T-Rex it. So get your elbow into your stomach so you still got some stability. If you get even taller, eventually you do have to kind of have your elbow out, but keep it tucked as long as possible. So pull up nice and slow. But then let's say you get a little bumps or your top is just not even. What you can do is take your needle tool, choke back on it a little bit, and I'm going to point it directly in front of me at 12 o'clock and keep it parallel to the side of my pot. Go down a little bit lower than you think you need to go and put one finger on the inside back. So when as I push this in, it's going to hit me on the bar and not the tip. So go a little bit lower than you think you need to. Apply pressure, make sure you're happy with where the mark is, and push in until the bar hits your finger and lift up. So you can see the bar is what touched my hand, not the point of the needle. So I lost a little bit of height, but I gained some stability. I'm going to pinch on either side, put one finger on top, even that out a little bit. Nice and clean. Now if I want to shape this, I can take my flexible rib, so either a metal rib or some type of rubber rib, hold it flat in my fingers, thumb in the middle, and I flex like that. I put this parallel to the side, and now my inside hand has to wake up and do some work. So I'm going to push into the side as I flex that rib, and I can create a curve. Now, if I want this part to go in even more, there is a sort of forbidden technique. So this is called collaring. And the reason I say it's forbidden is because it's not doing it clay any favors. So everything so far has flown in one direction. This is going to kind of, if you ever cut a peach open by cutting along the seam and then twisting, we're kind of doing that. So instead of having one hand in, one hand out, I'm going to have 4 points of contact with my thumb and forefingers. And just like with the needle tool cutoff, I'm going to go a little bit lower than I think. So if I want this part to go in, I start a little bit lower. I apply 4 points of contact, and I start to pinch and go in. And you might be able to see it's already starting to wobble a little bit. And if I feel underneath, I can feel these little blisters from where the twisting's happened. So that's step one. That's the bad step. To correct the damage, I'm just going to do step two. And all that is my fingers on the inside, sponge on the outside, and I do a traditional pull. And that kind of gets those blisters, it kind of gets the wobble out. So if I want, I can do that even more, as long as every time you do step one, the collaring, you follow it up with step two, the correction. So that's step one, and then step two, just a nice little pull just to go over it. So I've got all this clay at the bottom. I'm going to carve some of that away. If you've ever seen someone use a spinning lathe, it's very similar to that. But if you watch someone on the lathe, there's a bar that they rest that chisel on. We can't quite use the splash pan, doesn't reach far enough. So what I'm going to do is choke back a little bit on my wood knife, holding it like a pencil with the tip at the bottom, and then I'm going to hold my own hand so I'm super stable. Normally I do this right at 6 o'clock, but so that you can see what I'm doing, I'm going to do it off to the side here. So elbows are down, double hand so I'm braced, and kind of match this blade to the pot's profile. So what I'm going to do is make a little mark, start to go in and down, and as soon as I get that little shelf, I'm going to fill it with water so this is nice and slippery. And again, I would normally do this here. I'm going to set it off to the side, and I push in and down. If that little reservoir dries up again, refill it. And I'm going to go all the way down until I feel and hear it hitting the plastic back. Right there. So I pull this out, take the flat part against the vat, and I'm going to go until this point hits the same point it just hit. Now you can either stop the wheel and cut that off, or if you're feeling fancy, you can take it off like that. Okay. So I'm pretty happy with my pot. Might take a rib or a sponge, get that last bit of gooey slip off the sides. Definitely get the water out of the inside, because that water can dissolve your clay just like reclaim does. If you can't get your hand in, try squeezing this in half, or just using a stick and a rubber band. So get all that water out. If you can, give a little bit of compression to push down on the inside, because your walls have gotten compression, so they're going to be nice and strong. If you get a crack in a pot, usually it's at the bottom. So a little bit of compression can help with that. Okay. So I'm happy with it. I'm going to stop my wheel. I'm going to take my wire cutter, like dental floss, hold it nice and taut, start way up here, and once I cut through, I'm going to keep going another inch. Okay. Just because I've seen a lot of people that don't go that little extra inch, and when they pull up, they slice through their pot. To get the bat off, some of them pop off nice and easy. Sometimes you have to break the tension with just a little tool underneath there, and then you can take that off, and your pot's ready to dry.